And good evening and welcome to City Focus. I'm Marty Olsen, your host, and tonight I'd like to welcome back my friend and yours, Dave Cornish, who's the head boys basketball coach at New London High School, the original Whaler. So welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me, Marty. Appreciate
Looking forward to a good conversation, and you guys just came off a highly successful season.
Yeah.
So you got a lot to be proud of there. You just got all the way to the state finals up at the casino, and it's quite an achievement.
Yeah, the guys, you know, the team, they actually bought into what we were trying to sell them, and I told them when they buy in and actually buy all the way in, we can go, you know, a long way, and which we did. We got to the finals. I thought we had a chance to get to the finals with the team we had, but we just had to come together as a team.
Yeah. Well, as I recollect, early in the season, you started off a little bit slow. I think you were 2-2 or something along those lines.
2-3, actually. We had lost 3 in a row.
And then you went on a long winning streak, 17 games or thereabouts. And,
yes.
I think the last game you may have lost was the final.
We lost to St. Bernard's in the ECC finals.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Which I didn't think was a bad thing, because now the pressure's off and we can go on another winning streak, which we did.
So, I mean, but that to me I thought was terrific. I didn't get a chance to see you guys as much as I would have liked to, because I had some health issues. It precluded me from getting out much, but I did see the Fitch game, which you won by about 40.
Yeah.
And a year ago, when you played Fitch at home, I mean, they spanked us pretty good.
Yeah, they did. So, you know, when we played them this time, we made note of that, you know, when we wanted to come out fast, which we did, and, you know, we played hard all the way throughout the entire game.
Yeah, and I had a chance to go up to East Hartford and see you guys play, and had a chance to visit with a friend who I went to high school with at New London. Yeah. And watch the game, but I also noted that game on the schedule because I figured East Hartford would be a bit more competition for you guys.
That was a good game. They had us for a while there. That was a good game. East Hartford, well coached, former Whaler Pete Gittins coaches that team. So it was, you know, it was a great game.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's always nice to take the bus ride home after a W.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, now how, with the squad you had, how many players are you losing from this team?
4 seniors. We're losing 4 seniors. 3 starters, Deshaun Phillips, Savon Warren, and Jackson Bodette. And the 4th one is Jack Philliston, who was probably like a 6th, 7th man off the bench. He was very integral in this season as well.
So with these losses, do we have some youngsters coming up from behind that can step up and play, or are we looking at a rebuild here, or is New London going to be on top of its game?
We're going to be competitive again this year. You know, with the returning guys we have Javon Robinson, who will be a senior this upcoming year. Amir Hall will be a senior. Jameer Hall will be a senior. And, you know, we have, you know, a kid that got hurt last year, Jeremiah. He didn't play at all for us last year. He had a torn ACL. So we have another, you know, 4 more seniors. So.
Now, is it Troy's son? Is he still with the Whalers?
Who's that?
Troy?
Troy, yes. Troy McKelvin Jr. He'll be a junior. And Caden Gaskin Simmons, he'll be a junior as well. I'm sorry, Simon.
That's a good mix then. You got.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, you know, this season as well, to, you know, get back to where we were last year and try to close the deal this time.
Now, is the schedule been put together yet? Are you working on it, or is it way too early for that?
We're working on it. We still need 3 more games. I mean, with the league we have, it's a little crazy. You have to find 8 games. So we've found 5 so far. We're looking for 3 more.
You at liberty to disclose those, or is it too early for that?
We're going back to the Hoop Hall Classic. We played 2 games up there last year in Massachusetts. We'll be Cheney Tech again. We'll be going up there. Hill House, LaSalle, who's the Rhode Island champion. They won champion there. and I believe, and Hill House. So those are the 5 right now.
And you need 3 more. Well, you know, one thing that I applaud what you're doing and what's been done in the past is that you're trying to line up some good programs. That you're you're not looking for easy wins. You're looking to get yourself fine-tuned for postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said if I have a good team, we're going to try to play really good teams. I don't like to beat up on teams that are lesser competition. That's just not me. If it so happens both teams are good and somebody has a good night that night and the score is lopsided, then so be it. But I like to find the best teams possible to match my guys. I don't want to put my guys in a bullfight with where we have no shot in winning and playing teams that got 6'8", 6'9", and we don't have that size. So I wouldn't do that to my kids either.
Well, you may run into a team like that in the tournament, though. You don't know.
You could. I mean, here in Connecticut, it's not usually that way.
I don't know. I remember a handful of years ago when Chris and Childs were playing. They played down in Bridgeport, and they had one of their opponents had a big 7-foot kid. But New London won that game.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do a lot of scouting, and I see a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams with 6'5", 6'6", maybe, but there's no big guys. There's no Donovan Klings out there right now.
He's a big boy.
Oh yeah.
Well, that one thing I wanted to kind of get into, and it involves with the graduates as well as the kids coming up, is it seems that the rule changes that there's a lot more player movement in high school than I think than maybe I've ever seen before, and it's at least from my observation, it's all up and on the up and up. It's years ago it may have been frowned upon, but these days it's accepted practice.
Well, it's a lot of parents want their kids to be the man, and if they can find that in a school, wherever they can find it, it doesn't matter if it's a higher level, lower level, they're going to try to find that fit where their child is the man. And that's why you see a lot of movement. Oh, my child's not getting a lot of playing time here. I'm going to go here where they can shine. Whether they win or lose, they just want them to shine.
Well, it's different than, and I'm a little bit older than you are, but I mean, when I was a kid, I mean, you played for your hometown team, and in our case, the green and gold of New London, and you weren't going other places. I mean, if you were Waterford or Hartford or whatever town you were in, and that's who you played for. But I think that, things can change quickly, though, with that type of stuff. And I also noticed, too, that some of the coaches, well, I'm going to stick to the player, because last year with the girls, the Whalers, I think it was last year, they lost their best player.
Yep. Sure.
She decided to, the Lancaster girl, Serenity, she opted to go prep.
Yep.
And it had a pretty negative effect, I think, on that squad.
Yeah. We were in a similar situation. We lost arguably our best player, Devin Williams. He also went prep, but we were able to fill in. We had a lot of other pieces that we could fill in, and so we really didn't miss too much of a beat. Whereas in the girls, she was definitely a best player, and she did a lot of things both offensively and defensively.
Oh, yeah.
So that affected them pretty, a lot last year.
And the gal who was coaching that squad, she's moved on, right?
Yes. Yeah. From what I heard, she's now at a prep school, so she took a step up.
Okay. Well, you've had quite a career in coaching. I mean, you started a long time ago. I mean, I mean, just reviewing things. I mean, you've been involved with coaching in some fashion almost your entire adult life.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. I didn't even think about it like that, Mike. You're right.
I mean, you started at New London. You
Yeah.
you were worked with Ralph Agiro,
Yep.
and I don't think you started as an assistant, but you quickly worked your way into one.
Right. Yeah.
So you had a good long apprenticeship with him, and he had a lot of success, and
Oh yeah.
he had a lot of good ball players. And then following him, I believe was Coach Parker,
Yeah.
and you were with him for an extended period of time. But again, and Chop had good teams, and
Oh yeah.
so you had a chance to work with a couple of guys who achieved a pretty high level of success. And if I'm not mistaken, again, your first head coaching job, you had an opportunity to go across the river to Ledger,
Yes.
and you accepted that.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost didn't, but I did.
Well, I got to tell you, I had seen New London play Ledger over there before this, and they were god awful. And London, it was a gross mismatch.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you got your work cut out for you." And in rapid fashion, you got those guys whipped into a fine team and very competitive, and they did, they certainly, I think, exceeded expectations over there, that they weren't accustomed to a basketball team
Right.
doing as well. And you had a nice run there, and then you had Norwich for a year or two
2 years. Yeah.
before coming down to New London. And this was your second year at New London, correct?
Second year, yes.
So hopefully you get a nice run at New London here, and this
Yeah,
is your
I'd like to.
hometown team here.
Hometown team. This is the last stop. There's no more after this. Not on the high school level, anyway.
Well, that's something I always wonder about with the coaches at different levels, that especially those who achieve a high degree of success, if they've been offered opportunities to move up and don't, or maybe they never get the opportunity for whatever reason. And you generally don't see that discussed publicly, but
Right.
I look at a guy like Roger Bidwell in baseball over at Avery Point. I mean, here's a guy who's he won 1,000 games. I mean, and he stayed at Avery Point.
Yeah.
And there have been other coaches that have done exceptionally well and opted to stay in, and there's some that move up and they get in over their head the next step. It's not always the grass isn't always greener.
No, it's not. Just to go back to your point where you had mentioned back when you were in school and all of that, the kids would stay and play for their hometown team, and the success that Ralph had and Chop had and things like that. And no knock on them, but they had some really good players, and the players stayed there. Now, this day and age, with, like you said, the player movement, I think it's harder to, win a championship. So we were very fortunate to get to that championship with the team we had, because kids just so much movement. We actually lost 2 seniors. Dev Williams went prep, and we lost 4 other kids that went to Griswold Tech. So we lost a boatload of talent, and we still were able to get back to the championship.
Yep.
So, and it's not easy. And then you hear player movement, this one might go here and this one might go there. So you just never know from year to year.
Well, and that, I think, would make your job a little more challenging, because you're not quite sure who the team is.
Yeah.
And I don't like to assume, but I would think that once the things are settled, and if there is player loss for one reason or another, that you counsel your team that, this is our team.
Yep.
Look at everybody here. This is who we're playing. The guys that left, they're not here anymore. You can't.
That's right.
That's water under the bridge. Got to move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and it's. I don't mean to cut you off, Mike, but you think about the landscape of the ECC this past year, or just Southeastern Connecticut in general. You had us. We went to the championship. St. Bernard's went to the championship.
They had a nice team.
And they had a nice team, and a lot of those kids are New London kids. So, Griswold Tech went to the semis. Their best players, New London kids. Fitch went to the finals. Their best player was a New London kid. Two of their best, Makai Sebastian and Xavier Good, both played for the Whalers.
Well, and you just mentioned 3 squads plus your own, so there's 4.
Yeah.
Now, there's not enough playing time for everybody.
No. I mean, I couldn't make it work, though.
Well, I've got confidence in you, but sometimes the players themselves, or perhaps their parents.
Oh yeah. That's the big deal. That's the big thing. The parents, friends, family. Yeah.
They all think their kid's going to be the next MJ.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Yeah.
There's many good players that have passed through New London.
Oh yeah, there's.
And we've had a lot of good kids and good players. And some who have done exceptionally well at the collegiate level. I mean, in recent memory, Dunn is the only one who's really played pro, extended.
Yeah.
I'm like, did Tyson get a look-see in the NBA, or did he play professionally other places?
He did. He played for the Denver Nuggets. Actually played a game, made a 3-pointer. But he played overseas. The majority of his career was overseas.
Yeah. But my point is that of all these good guys, I mean, not too many of them make the show.
That's right. That's right. You got to be very, very lucky and blessed.
And I give Dunn a tremendous amount of credit, because after he, primarily due to, I think, injuries, he was out of the league.
Oh yeah.
And to get back in, and he's not a kid, that took tremendous effort.
Yep. I got a chance to go see him play. They played the Celtics this year in Boston, and I got a chance to go up there and see him. I was talking to his dad and his godfather and stuff. Sat with them after the game. Got a chance to talk to Chris after the game and stuff like that. So
that's nice.
It was good to see him.
Does he do anything to benefit the school, the team, or?
No, well, not that I know of. He hasn't been in touch with me, personally, about doing stuff with the team and things like that. So I'm not even sure if he lives around. I know his dad said he still lives around here, but I'm not sure where Chris lives actually.
Yeah, the last time I saw Chris was at a summer picnic at Juan Roman's place.
Oh, okay.
And his dad was there, and he was going to get a look-see. I think he had signed with Utah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he got in with Utah before he went to the Clippers.
Yeah, he played well there.
But it's a challenge. Sometimes these youngsters, I kind of wish, we've got 3 D3 schools here in town.
Yeah.
With Conn, Coast Guard, and Mitchell.
Yeah.
That some of our guys would, from time to time, maybe take in and watch these guys play, because the competition is pretty stiff, and not all these guys are going to play D1 when they get out of high school, and see where they may fit in.
Well, we took Deshaun, Savon, and Jackson, who are all going to play in college next year. We took them up to go watch a Worcester State game, because Worcester State was recruiting Deshaun.
Okay.
We also went to watch St. Thomas More, went to a prep game.
Yeah.
We went to a Conn College game, and we went to Mitchell. And also we took them up to Eastern to watch Eastern play. They played Rhode Island College.
Okay.
So they got a chance to see
that's good.
That level.
Now, as a coach, do you feel this is kind of part of your job, is to see that these kids are getting exposed, whether it's just to the level of play, or that they may have opportunities, or maybe you have connections with some of these coaches that may have helped them move into the next level?
Oh yeah, I believe that I'm doing a third of it. Their parents are doing a third of it, and when they play AAU, because a lot of kids get recruited through AAU. And that's the big deal. But I also feel it's my job as well to help them.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, because I think that's important, that connection. And I suspect, at least from observation, I've never been in the coaching field, but as a big sports fan and attending a lot of games and having interaction with the high school level coaches, that you're not you singularly, but as a group of coaches. I mean, connections you may have a direct bearing on getting into a particular school because a particular coach trusts you.
Right. Right.
If you say, I've got a guy,
Right.
they're not going to say, well, this guy, he's not really sending us a stud, he's sending us something.
Oh, yeah.
Or if they're not meeting it in the classroom. And that's something, too, that I think that the kids need to be, they need to be aware that in college you still have to go to class and perform, and you need to do that in high school as well. Because if you're looking like you're not cutting it there, that they just might not even give you a look-see, even if you're a terrific player.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's why it's important to, and I tell my guys, I'm going to tell the coaches the truth. So what you want me to tell them, you have to do this, because if I lie and it's not truth and it's not the truth to them, and the next time I send them a player, they're going to be like, nah, we're not taking this player because of what happened with the previous player.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
That's important to build those relationships where they trust you.
Yeah. Is the Doc Hurley Classic still played up in Hartford?
It is. It's called the Spirit of the Doc.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
passed away, hasn't he?
Oh, yes. Yep. Many years.
And he was a real leader of young men up in Hartford.
Absolutely.
At Hartford Weaver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep. I mean, and like that's why they call it the Spirit of the Doc, because his spirit lives on.
Yeah, one year a buddy and I went up to the Hurley Classic, and good competition. It was a lot of fun.
It still is. A guy by the name of Kevin Kurtzy, which is his godson, runs the tournament now.
Okay. Now, do you have any plans? Is summer starting now for you or for the team, and with the rules and regs as far as and I don't know what they are, so you can enlighten all of us. What you're allowed to do or not do, and to get your team kind of get a handle on who's doing what, and maybe some up and comers, or if somebody maybe isn't cutting it, maybe somebody's taking a little bit of a slack, may need a little bit of a kick in the butt to get them motivated.
Well, we're starting a summer league starting next week on Monday. So we'll go Monday and Wednesday evenings. I actually have 2 teams in because I wanted to have guys play a lot. So, and I didn't want to, get like 10 or 11 kids and not everybody get a chance to play. So I wanted to divide. So I think I have about 7 or 8 on each team, and they get to play each other, get to play. Now,
is this in New London, or is this a travel type situation where the kids are going to be playing?
No, it's a high school summer league. It's at New London. I mean,
indoors?
Indoors. It's at the gym at New London High School. And we have 2 teams. Lyme is in it, Sabre, a lot of shoreline teams. Morgan, Griswold, who's going to be pretty good this year. Valley Regional, Montville. So we have, it's a 10-team league.
Yeah, well, Old Lyme had a pretty good squad last year, if I recall. And I saw them play in the finals. Yeah. And they got a little squirt out there, heaving them up from three-point land.
Yeah. Well, they have everybody returning, so they're going to be pretty good again this year. And he had a lot of kids as well, so he asked me could I put 2 teams in for him as well. So he's going to be good again.
Now, do Fitch or NFA play in this league?
Fitch, I believe Fitch is running their own summer league, from what my understanding.
And how long will this league run for?
We're going from the 23rd until August 4th, right before football starts.
Oh, wow. And are spectators permitted?
Yes, yeah.
That's good. Do you have a schedule, or a schedule will be posted, or?
I usually do it via social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be kind of fun to see the kids.
Yeah.
Now, do any of your guys play more than one sport? Are they football or baseball players, or track and field, or?
I would like for them to. At least run track. If they don't want to play football, I think they should run track. We have a new volleyball team now. I would like for them either to run track or play volleyball if they're not going to do baseball or football. But as of right now, my main guys, Caden, he plays football and basketball. Jeremiah played football last year, but that's about it. Well, Troy, TJ, he does soccer and basketball as well.
Okay. Just an observation, when I've attended your games, this year in particular,
Yeah.
but it seems like you've got an abundance of assistant coaches. Did this just happen, or is this part of the plan when you decided to take this job?
Well, I had that as well when I was in Ledyard. I had probably about 5 coaches. When I went to Norwich, I had myself, Will Marquez, Harvey Morton, Kelby, and my nephew Kyrie Childs. He came on as a volunteer assistant. So I've had about 5 coaches. You know, you can't see everything.
And they're assistants. I mean, they're not compensated. Is that correct?
Correct, volunteer assistants. You have a JV coach and a freshman coach are the ones that are your paid assistants.
Now you have Cassius Chaney been coaching with you.
Yes.
How has that interacted with his boxing career?
He makes it work. He makes it work. He tries not to have any fights scheduled during the season. He trains once in a while during the year. He may have to take a day off or 2. But, you know, I got enough coaches to fill that void at the time. So, but, you know, he makes it work.
I've been to see a couple of his fights, and the total time, I think, lasted about 2 minutes. I mean, he went in there and knocked one guy out in 30 seconds, and the second time he went in there, all done. Yeah. But he played ball when he was in high school, correct?
Yeah, he actually won a state championship with Old Saybrook. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. He went to University of New Haven, so he played at a high level.
Yeah. And see, now New Haven's made a decision to go D1 in all their sports.
I saw that. Interesting.
Now, when you were here last, you had mentioned that you try to get to coaching clinics and things of that nature, and to try to hone your skills and learn from some of the folks that have achieved success at many different levels. Are you continuing to do that, or are you now the guy who's teaching the kids?
Well, no, I actually was in New York in April. They had a championship coaching clinic, and they had 11 coaches there for that weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it was very informative. No big name coaches, but a lot of coaches that have had success with smaller, I don't know if you want to call it smaller market teams, like the University of Oakland. That coach is very, very good. Coach at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, very, very good. The women's coach at Michigan State, she's very, very good. So there was a lot of coaches there that you may not see on TV all the time, but they're very knowledgeable.
Well, that's terrific. They have. Do your players get a chance to? This is for coaches now, so I'm not.
Right.
But are there clinics for the players where they may have opportunities to meet with some of these college coaches, or not necessarily so?
No, none that I know of. They used to have, like back in the day, they used to have the 5-star camp. I don't even know if they do camps anymore like that. Not to my knowledge. I don't know.
Well, has high school basketball in general, and New London in particular, had any interaction with name, image, and likeness, also known as NIL?
In this area, again, to my knowledge, I don't know. in this area. None of my guys have, but I do know down the other end of the state, probably the best player in the state, Abdul Torre, Notre Dame, West Haven. I've heard he's been compensated throughout the AAU season already. So I'm sure he's getting compensated through other avenues.
So I anticipate to see that this, with the money they're making at the college level, that it's going to trickle down into the high school level.
At some point.
At some point. I don't know when, but and I'm not sure if this is a healthy thing for. I'm not sure it's healthy for college. Never mind high school.
But I think you have to be on that 4 or 5 star level to get those kind of deals. They want to see you on commercials or just maybe on billboards and things of that nature. But you have to be that draw. Like Torre, they played Windsor in the state tournament. I think it was the second round. They sold out the University of New Haven. Couldn't even get in there. So pretty much because of Notre Dame, West Haven, Windsor, and also him.
Well, I know I've had Mike DeMore on the program, and he has written and he's expressed concern about the effect that the name, image, likeness is having on athletics in general. I mean, it just, and he's expressed concern too that it'll trickle down into high school or even perhaps younger into middle school, junior high type of stuff. Get some young kid, And the thing is with the kids at the middle school level, it means a lot of these kids, they're not fully developed, and the kid who may be a real star at that level. The other kids, may catch up and pass them when they get into high school or beyond.
Well, I saw on social media, probably during football season, they have a kid, he's in middle school, they call him Baby Gronk, and he's making money as a middle schooler. Well, his parents are, they're showcasing him, but he's making money as a middle schooler, so.
Boy, I have to admit, I don't like that, but that's just one man.
Yeah.
Things change, and you got to be able to move and change. And that's one of the things with some of the coaches. I look at some of the high-powered college coaches that have stepped down. It's kind of like they were accustomed to. This is an observation where they have coached a certain way and recruited a certain way prior to these rule changes, and had extraordinary success. And the appearance is, I don't need this now. The Villanova coach, Wright, comes to mind quickly. I mean, now he's in the booth, and I think he's making well compensated there, and there's no pressure, at least compared to being on the bench.
Same thing with the Alabama football coach, Nick Saban.
Yeah,
same thing.
Saban's making money now doing commercials.
Yeah.
Which one is he doing there? Oh God, it's Verbo, I think.
Is he in the Aflac commercial as well?
He's done Aflac too, yeah.
Yeah.
Got with Dion, I think.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But I look forward to seeing the local kids. I mean, I enjoy watching the Whalers football and basketball, and the girls basketball. I don't know if any of the kids pay attention, but I think it's important that they are aware that there are people in the community that are paying attention to what they're doing.
Right.
And that they're not just representing themselves, but they're representing the school, their families, and the community.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I always tell my guys that, it's not just you. You're playing for the school, your family, all this. So you want to represent yourself the right way. You want to keep a good, clean image as much as you can anyway.
Yeah, because there are forces that are tugging at these kids to kind of go off and veer in bad directions. Come to a fork. I mean, just kind of stay on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
As boring as it may seem at the time, it's the right choice.
It's the right choice. Yep.
Now, how do you deal with the youngsters too in terms of their academics? I mean, make sure that they're going to be towing the line, and not you personally, but is tutoring provided? And if it is it in season, or is it all school year, or?
It is if needed. I mean, not all the kids need that, and Mr. Orby does a good job of staying on top of things, letting me know our communication. Also, Cassie Fletcher, they always, let me know if a kid, is slacking off or he's in trouble. So that communication is very vital in keeping the kids, at that level academically.
Yeah. Now, are you in the school? Does that?
No, I'm not. No.
Are any of your assistants in the school?
Troy McKeldin.
I think that's important, that there's at least some contact there that can kind of keep an eye on what's going on and has their finger on the pulse of.
Troy does a great job, and he keeps his finger on the pulse with the kids, the teachers. Troy knows everything. If anything's going on, I get a call from Troy to let me know. Sometimes before Mr. Orby.
Well, that's important.
Yeah.
That's very important.
It is.
Well, I'm looking forward to, actually I'm looking forward to football season first, but certainly looking forward to basketball season. Mm-hmm. And I have to make an effort to get up and see these kids during your summer league. I think that should be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And one of your coaches stops in and sees me at where I work over at Ace Hardware in Waterford. He keeps me posted on some things.
Oh yeah.
But and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came over from Waterford, and
he's really been instrumental in the first 2 years being there. Last year he wasn't sure how much to dive into things, but this year he told the kids last year the honeymoon is over. So no, Dan has been great. He's been great. This year more so than last year. He was great, but even this year he's more involved, and he does a lot of the things with the kids in the off season. He loves it though. He loves doing that. The kids may not love it because he's working them hard, but he loves it.
Do you find I'm kind of going all over the place here? I'm not working off of an outline here, but that the kids, and I think it's the nature of youngsters, like to try to pattern themselves after the pros. And the NBA, at least from my observation these days, is it's a 3-point league sprinkled with some dunks. And I wonder if that's a healthy thing for the high school kids. I see young kids heaving up. And for me, they look like heaves of threes. But that's what the pros do. And do they believe that's their ticket out, so to speak?
Like people, they do what they see, and the NBA guys just chuck up threes, three after three after three, no matter what. And it's almost like when they go to warm up, the first thing they do is grab a ball and go right to the 3-point line, like it's a magnet. About 6 or 7 years ago, we had a team we played up at Hope High School. I was at Ledyard at Hope High School, and they asked us to warm up in the back gym. It's an old school. This school didn't even have a 3-point line on the courts in that gym. So they get the ball, and they're like, "Coach, where do we shoot from?" I said, "See, you don't even know about this thing here." But there was no 3-point line, and they didn't know what to do. But, I try to teach them to do the right thing, best shot available. I mean, I try not to hold them back from shooting threes. Even our big guy, Jackson Bodette, shot, some threes last year. Not a lot, but when he was wide open, I mean, because he may have to do that in college. Because everybody in college.
He graduated, right?
Yes.
Now, is he going to school?
He's going to Mitchell.
Going to Mitchell, playing to play there?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice to see a local kid on that team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Benson played for them a few years ago.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he played well.
Played well.
Yeah, he's strong. That kid was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I just kind of wonder, like I say, the influences from above. But I think you got a good handle on things here, and I enjoyed and got positive feedback on your squad this year. That your first year, the kids seemed to get out frequently on some big leads, and against quality competition in the second half, things seem to kind of, their focus seemed to get confused, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Where this year, things seem to hold together a lot better.
Yeah, my first year was a lot of things pulling, like you said, pulling kids and, people in the kids' ears and telling them this and that. And, I was actually watching a little bit of St. Bernard's game last year, not this past year, 2 years ago when we played up there and we had a 21-point lead. And I actually watched the third quarter where the lead pretty much evaporated. And not too many people know this, but we had 12 assists at halftime. We're up 19. We ended the game with 14 assists total. So we had 2 assists in the second half. That's not a recipe for a win. So it was more
one-on-one.
It was more. I don't know if it was more. I got to get mine, but it was more. We're struggling to score. Let me just go and see if I can do it myself. So I don't think they trusted each other. So that was, trying to get them to buy into that. Trust your teammates. Find, the good shot. Pass up a good shot for a great shot. Things like that.
Well, as long as you've been doing this, I mean, teamwork and passing, and as you say, the best shot tends to achieve success.
Yeah, and hopefully by what we did this year, we can continue that. We have the blueprint, so now let's keep continuing what we're doing.
Now, when does once you're in school, when do you guys start practicing? I mean, is football still playing, or are they all done when you guys start?
It depends. Football, if they're in the playoffs, they're still playing. They're still practicing. But if they're not, a lot of times the season will be over, and we can jump right into it. But I hope, I think we have a lot of talent on the football team, and I think that we should be in the playoffs again this year, and so there'll be a little overlap.
Okay. Do you have any, you mentioned St. Thomas, interaction with Jerry Quinn? I mean, he's had a fair amount of success up there.
Yeah. I don't know Jerry personally. I talked to him on a handful of occasions, but nothing with, in personal action.
Yeah, I mean, that's a high-end post-prep, I guess you might call it, program. I mean, postgraduate program.
Well, I know one of his assistants, Murphy, Tom Murphy, he was coach at Ledger High School when I first started there.
Okay.
He was helping Pete Vincent on the girls' side. He actually moved to New Jersey and went to St. Anthony's and was working with Bob Hurley Sr.
Yep.
And then I was at the Timor game. I knew I saw him at a coaching clinic, and he mentioned that he had moved back and he was going to be coaching at St. Thomas More. And I saw him this year. He was right at St. Thomas More. So I'm pretty good friends with him.
That's good. I guess we had one kid who went up to St. Thomas a handful of years ago, left New London, went to St. Thomas, and ended up at Mitchell.
Oh, yeah? Who was that?
The James.
Oh, Noah James, yep. Torrin Childs Harris went to St. Thomas More as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going back a few. Because he was playing with Chris. That's got to be
Right. Yeah.
over 10 years ago now. I think time flies.
I have a personal relationship with the Putnam science coach.
Okay.
Yeah. So he and I, we talk, text every now and then. One of my former players played for him this year, Tony Williams. He was with me at NFA. He's now going to Fairfield University. So Tony's very good player.
Colin Sawyer, I think, went up to that Putnam
Science.
for a PG year
Okay.
before going to Brandeis. I think that's where he ended up.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. I remember that now. Yeah.
That's, I think, a D2 program. And then, again, it's the quality of play is good. You got good ball players.
Listen, I tell the kids, go where you're gonna play. You want to go to a big name program and then you sit in the bench. You're not gonna be happy doing that. Go somewhere where the coach wants you, he trusts you, and you're gonna play. I don't care if it's 1, 2, or 3. And nowadays, you get in. I've talked to actually Pat Sellers, Central Connecticut coach. He and the former Bryant coach, who's now at Maryland, they told me the best thing for a kid to do now is to get into college right away, and then you can get into the portal, because then you can move around, because they want guys that's already doing it. They're looking at high school kids, but unless you're a 5-star, they're not really on you like that. But if you get into college and they know you can handle the curriculum, they know you can handle the work, workouts and all that, and the schedule, they'll be on you.
Yeah, well, I know I had the College coach on the program probably about a year and a half ago, and he was saying how he had a player who was a senior who was going to do a PG year at a D2 school, going into the portal. So, I mean, the kid was good enough to...
Yeah.
I should say young men. I mean, these guys are not...
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, they've reclassified.
These guys are young men.
That's the other thing, the reclassifying thing, man. You got guys that reclass before they get to high school. While they're in high school, they're probably around their sophomore or junior year. They go back to prep to reclass again. So by the time they're coming out, they're like 20, 21 years old.
Yeah, well, I think the D3 gets, around here anyway, a bit of a bad rap. But if the guys are seeing them, and all these players we're all conference, all state, captains of their team. You're not getting the guy who was the 12th man on the bench at D3. I mean, you're still getting quality players.
The difference, I think, between D1 and D3 or D2 is the size. The size. You don't see, 6'11", 7-footers at D3.
About 6'5", 6'6" is about
but
it.
they're very good players at the D3 level, man. I'll tell you, those guys can play.
Yeah, I agree. And Glenn Miller's got a nice program up at
St. Joe's.
St. Joe's up in West Hartford.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he's a local guy.
Yep, he's done a nice job.
Matter of fact, I went up there this past year to see Mitchell play up there, and just to see what kind of squad he had this year. Prior year, St. Joe's came down to Mitchell, and it was a overwhelming St. Joe's victory. Mitchell was outclassed by a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Todd Peretz. It was like, playing a team like this, I mean, it gives you an idea what you need to do if you want to get to that next level. The kind of players you're going to have to get, because Mitchell dominated a league they were in prior to joining this greater Northeast Conference.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun, and we've run out of time. So I want to thank you for carving out an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And shooting the breeze here, and give us a little insight into what's going on in the program and what we can look forward to. And so we'll look forward to the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully this time we can finish the deal and you'll be looking at state champion next time we talk.
Well, that'd be good. I know when Parker was running the program, his goal was state championships. He wasn't looking at ACC titles. He was looking for the big prize.
Yeah.
So that's a good goal. Well, folks, you've been watching City Focus. I'm Marty Olsen. I've been joined tonight by Dave Cornish, who's the head boys basketball coach at Illinois High School. And I want to thank you, and we'll see you again next week. Good night.